Hey, folks, and welcome to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. Good morning, Adrian. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Doing okay so far. Freezing my butt off here. It's like 20 degrees outside or something.
Pretty cold.
Just before Thanksgiving as we do this. And we thought that it would be a good idea to focus on Jimi Hendrix today. We're just going to focus on one song, Bold as Love, off the album Axis, Bold as Love. And we're going to go through the words and everything, but first we're going to actually react to the video. Second guitar coming in. Saying it's all bold as love, just ask the Axis.
To a rainbow like you, whatever. Yeah, he knows everything.
I love this flanged part here.
It sounds like they took the whole tape.
They added a keyboard like harpsichord or something. Of course, that's all analog reverb. It's not just Hendrix, but that guitar sound at that time was still really new. I mean, I know Clapton sounded like that in Cream, but it was really kind of an invention, I think, of '67. I don't know, somewhere in that. I know that Satisfaction came out in 1965, and that fuzz on that song seemed to have changed everything. Like everybody got inspired by that, and then the fuzz got better. So this is '67, and so probably summer or fall '67 because the album came out in December. So at least let me just double check. Yep, look at that, December 1st.
December 1st.
Only 7 months after the first album. This is a good one, by the way. We're not going to do the whole album today, but it's worth noting this is a fantastic record.
Sure is.
Here we got some pretty nice reviews down here. Went to number 5. Be nice to hear an album like this show up on number 5 again. A little bit better. Of course, you got the album in the back, which for those that don't know, opens up to be this. Jimmy apparently didn't know it was going to look like this. No disrespect to anybody, but I think the artist just misinterpreted. He wanted something psychedelic. And this is really more something having to do with Hinduism, I think.
Yes.
Do you know the background behind this?
I don't know much about it. I've seen. I think I've seen similar pictures with. I don't know who would be in the middle. Whether it be probably not. It looks like Krishna is actually in that picture somewhere.
Could be.
He's a blue-skinned.
Oh yeah, okay. Then that would be see, I don't want to go. I got to hold the bottom because the record's in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that. Maybe that person.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So that's them.
That's him.
And it's funny. Yeah. I mean,
Krishna. It's
a very cool piece of art, right down to whatever those things are on top. Are those cobras?
It looks like cobras. Yeah.
But the inside is great too. It's got the entire. All the lyric sheets, and then it's got that cool relief there of the band. So, this is straight. I just took a picture on the inside of the album cover, and here it is. And notice the way he writes this. It's very much the way a poet writes it. I'm sure that they just took it exactly the way Jimmy gave it to him. So he's got anger is certainly some entity, or towering in the shiny metallic purple armor. That does kind of sound like anger.
Symbolized.
Like this, and then you've got your armor on, all that. Yeah, that makes sense. And then queen jealousy, envy, waits behind him.
I used to think it was green jealousy, envy, waits behind him.
Yeah. We could do a
song. I mean, the next line in the song.
We should do
fiery green gowns near us at the grassy ground. So green is mentioned in the next line anyway. Yeah. Fury
green ground sneers at the grassy ground. I'm a better green than you are. And it's funny. Green. See, jealousy. Queen jealousy's green gown. That makes sense. And envy.
Yeah.
So it would seem that Queen Jealousy's first name is Envy. So we've got Queen Envy Jealousy here with her fierce green gown sneering at the grass. Look at me, I walk on you. Yeah, so, who knows? But these are actually really vivid descriptions, you know, and who knows? People that listen to the songs, they're great songs, but how often do you actually get in here and see what he's talking about? Blue are the life-giving waters, taking for granted. And he probably meant taken. That's probably would be my guess. They quietly understand. And that's pretty cool. It's like, yes, the calm of blue, you know, and life-giving. It's like if you're mad, generally, if you go into something, especially kind of a light blue, you're in better shape soon, you know. Then once happy turquoise armies lay opposite. It's not kind of
They wonder why the fight is on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, we were fine. What's going on here? Well, I'm angry, and I brought my wife here, jealousy. Who's over? And they're all bold as love. So these are all bold emotions, you know.
Yeah.
Just ask the Axis. He knows everything. You know, I wonder. That's one thing I've yet to really figure out is.
Yeah, I wonder if the Axis has something to do with. Well, earlier on, I was talking about the rainbow. About each person is kind of like a rainbow, and the different emotions.
Yeah.
Being, you know, signified by different colors of the rainbow and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
So I thought it was perhaps a reference to that anyway. I
think you're right. I'm trying to figure out. I wonder if it's him or somewhere in his brain, some center, some control center in his brain. It could be that.
Could be.
I just don't know. That's kind of the mystery of the song for me.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't really describe it very.
Maybe it's the emotional control center of the brain is the Axis. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to make sense of these because there is a certain sense to them, of course. Yeah. And you got to love these next lines. I mean, it's all. You're right. You're right. It's about being, you know, having the rainbow of emotions. My red cap is so confident. That makes sense. He flashes trophies of war and ribbons of euphoria.
Orange is young, full of daring, but very unsteady for the first go around.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so orange almost sounds like, you know, what you would call someone green. Young, full of daring, but very, it seems like an inexperienced. And yeah, there you go. I was just noticing you were having an orange
soda,
orange drink.
Yeah, I just happened to have some orange soda here.
Well, are you feeling unsteady? I guess is
no.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And here, my yellow in this case is not so mellow, and it's worth noting that just the year before, I think, or maybe that year, Donovan had his Mellow Yellow hit.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, was about a dildo, I believe.
Really?
Just like Steely Dan. And yeah, musicians are so sneaky. They put all kinds of references in their songs. Let's see. In fact, I'm trying to say that it's frightened like me. So his yellow is frightened. Okay. Yeah. You've heard of having a yellow streak. So he's just sampling from the culture and being poetic here. And all these emotions of mine. Now here's the part that makes me wonder if this is all just kind of a, hey, I'm a love man. But I really can't, I can't hang out with you forever, you know, much as I'd like to. All these emotions of mine keep holding me from giving my life to a rainbow like you. That's what I'm thinking. Like, okay, so I can't be yours, but I'm bold as love. I'm bold as love. And just to ask the Axis, he knows everything. So yeah. It's that's the thing. Well, I don't know if that was your impression, but that's kind of what I thought. Seeing that line, you know.
Yeah, I guess I'm still trying to figure out the Axis. The Axis could be a reference to the self, I suppose. I mean, there's a bunch of different possibilities with that.
Yeah, it kind of. You're right. It seems like some other power that he's saying is outside himself, but actually it needs to be within himself. It would seem. unless he's. I don't think he's talking about the supernatural. This seems very internal to me. So it could be, it could be some part of his brain is kind of. I think that's going to be my guess. Is some part of his brain that he refers to in the third person.
Some part of the brain, some part of consciousness, I suppose.
Yeah, something like that.
I read a lot into these different things.
That's right. Do you have any thoughts on the music we heard in there?
Well, the music is great.
Yeah,
and especially. Well, as I said, the ending of that song is probably one of my favorite song endings in rock and roll.
It's pretty good.
And I mean, it's a pretty good ending. And all they really had to do to make it really special, I guess, was put the whole thing through a flanger or a phaser.
Do you know what I think that might have actually been? It might have been 2 copies of the mix.
And they sort of fluctuate like pressure on each of the reels.
Yeah, play them the same time, right? And record that, and then make sure they're just a little bit off each other, because that's when you get that flange, that natural flange. Anybody who hasn't tried that, you can try it at home. It works.
I think that process is actually called phasing. It's not that different from flange. I don't know. I read a lot about this stuff, and like reading about effects units and such.
I agree. I think you hit it on the head. Yeah, I mean these are times of great experimentation. I mean, Sgt. Pepper had just come out, and it's quite possible actually this was recorded in the same place as Sgt. Pepper. I think the first album was.
It could be.
Yeah, so. It's a small world in London, but it's not just the Beatles. I mean, they're, like I said, Cream is also doing things, although they're not getting that experimental yet. They're doing interesting things that are kind of psychedelic, but they're kind of pop psychedelia, in a way, like there's a pop sensibility to their stuff. And they don't get quite that crazy. They just have interesting ideas, But Hendrix was just doing these bizarre things at the time. That was probably considered pretty, I don't know what you'd say, innovative. For anybody that doesn't understand what all the fuss is about with Hendrix, just remember if you were to hear that and there'd never been, rock bands using heavy distortion and flange and stuff, and then you hear that, it's like your black and white world has just gone color. I love the way that second guitar comes in at the chorus and the way they bring it in. Bing, 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 bing. So it becomes multi-rhythmic, and it also grabs you by the throat, and pulls you up. A lot of cool stuff going on there. It's probably all 4-track, by the way. Probably just 4 tracks of multi-track.
Imagine if they had the effects units that they have today. You just have to, instead of having to make a duplicate recording and doing that thing with the tape reels and everything, you just put it through an effects unit. It's like an electronic box or something. It'll do all the work for you.
Man, can you imagine if he'd gone beyond 27? Imagine if he were alive today, what kind of career he would have had.
I wonder what rock and roll would be like if he was still around today.
Yeah.
Went through a lot of stages, I guess, in his career. A lot of it seemed to be around blues, but definitely, psychedelia as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually somebody, they eventually put out a 2-album set just called Blues of Jimi Hendrix. And they pointed out that pretty much 1/3 of his catalog were blues songs, or, essentially blues songs. Which I guess is true if you really start looking through. Yeah, so great respect to Jimi Hendrix. If you don't know him, somehow go listen to him. You'll
find out.
Yeah, find out. Become experienced.
Right.
Okay, well, with that, I think we're going to break this off. Let's see if we can start getting up recordings a little faster for you guys. I know we've been doing it about once a month lately. We'd like to try to up that, and hopefully having these shorter videos will help. Okay, so for now, we'll just wish you a happy Thanksgiving, which you've probably already eaten, but and a good December, early December, and we will catch you soon. All right?
All right.
Take care.